going on? Hi, Alexandria. Higher self spirit, what does the collective need to know? Higher self spirit. Welcome in. Thank you for joining. Higher self spirit, what does the collective need to know? Thank you for joining. Higher soul spirits. I don't know why Spirit is showing me a scooter, but maybe somebody you know. I feel like it's a masculine that rides a scooter. But it doesn't have to be. I feel like they're talking about this person. This person may have ended the relationship, but it's not permanent. So thank you for joining. If you want to give me permission to tap into your energy, you could just write permission in the comments and I might tap into it for the collective. And just let me know if it resonates. Stop. Go out there. Thank you for joining. Higher soul spirit. I guess y'all scared to give me permission. Hey, is that sensitive woman? I'll be struggling with glasses. Okay. Higher self. What else is the collective? I'm tired, but I feel like there's something significant about Cinco de Mayo because it's like 5/5, and then the year is 10. So we'll see. I'm getting so much information. I'm trying to sort through it. But it's like they're showing me like a condo overlooking the water in New York. It's a beautiful view. So if you had aspirations to live in New York or just live in a big city and own a condo, I feel like Spirit is saying somebody's about to get that. Somebody's about to get like a luxury vehicle. I feel like it's a Porsche, like a SUV. I feel like Spirit is just saying, like, believe in what you think is the impossible, because anything is possible. In order for us to truly, like, have a supernatural experience, we have to use our intuition, use our imagination, tap into our childlike energy or our inner children, because basically that's where your creativity lies. Thank you for the lights. That's where your so your inner child, the more healed your inner child is, the more that energy, that energetic part of you helps your intuition. So your inner child healing strengthens your intuition. It strengthens your ability to tap into higher realms of consciousness. And I feel like I was quoting the Bible the other day where I don't know the Bible that well, but I think there's something that talks about like in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to be like a child or something like that. And the reason for that is just what I said. You know, like your inner child is connected to your solar plexus. And that's also a connection to your higher self. And so basically, I feel like Spirit is saying that your higher self is how you tap into the spirit realm. And I know that's kind of basic, but it's kind of like, whereas I've seen some readers where, you know, it's cool to ask an ascended master or a deity or something like that to work with you while you're doing readings, as long as they're willing to work with you. But Your higher self is your direct connection. And so it may seem weird at first, like connecting to your higher self or doing inner child healing work, because we can really, like as adults, we can really be stuck in an era of time. And a lot of times it has to do with an unhealed inner child, because we are developing our identities and our personalities up until around age 7. And so anything that happens during that time can be heavily impactful. And so if you experience any kind of like trauma, especially if it was like SA by an adult and maybe a family member or something like that, and I apologize if that's triggering to anyone, but these are very important things that we need to work on, seriously. All right, okay now. And I feel like Spirit is urging us to remember when we were children, like when we didn't have responsibilities, when we didn't have to worry about things as much. And I'm not, I'm not saying just ignore your adult responsibilities, but it's important to embrace our inner children, to embrace that like fun, loving, lighthearted, energetic, playful parts of ourselves. And I have a lot of earth energy in my chart and a lot of fire. So I think that, depending upon what your chart is comprised of, that may make you appear more or less laid back. Like I try to be not serious, but sometimes it's difficult. Why do y'all decide to do this as soon as I get on live? Why? I already know why. Because I come home and they are attached to me at the hip, and they want me to rub them and love them all night. And I'm just not gonna do it. So I feel like someone is like Spirit is talking to an entrepreneur, and you may do something with your hands, but like if your business is suffering in any way, you really have to look at your business practices. And again, I know that's real basic. However, like it really just be that simple. Analyzing and evaluating your business practices and looking at everything from an honest lens and saying, if I was my client, would I be satisfied with my products or services? Would I be satisfied with the level of customer service that I'm giving? And, you got to be careful about, there are some really despicable, diabolical customers out there who they do little trick shit to try to get free stuff, or they'll you know, try to take advantage of some way. But sometimes it'll be a legit gripe because the person needs to tighten up on their um, business practices. Hey, exotic beauty. And I feel like Spirit is talking about someone who you may be in a relationship with, or a situationship, or maybe previously. Thank you for the likes. Um, this person, their energy is coming across as like very you know what? I'm not going to say emotionally unavailable, because this person is emotionally available to who they want to be emotionally available to. So, like, if this person is a parent, they're outstanding parents. They're emotionally available for their children whenever they're going, whenever they're experiencing some kind of crisis or something like that. Um, they may work with children, may be very good with children, may work with like handicapped people and are very patient and kind and all of that stuff. But when it comes to you, like, all they want to do is text. All they want to do is, try to get you to send them daggone, explicit pictures of yourself or whatever. Um, and so the person is like very focused on themselves, very focused on what they can get from you. And, if that's truly not what you want, then why would you be with that person? Because the energy is like, you may have, recently not been feeling well or was going through something, and all you wanted the person to do was pick up the phone and call you and see if you were okay. And this person didn't even do that. Like, they act like, like every time. And then when you call them to the carpet on something, like, if you like, yo, I'm always available to you whenever you need me, whenever you're going through something, but why can't I get a phone call? And then they give you an excuse like, oh, well, I had a horrible dinner with my family. Okay, well, what does that have to do with anything? We experience whack meals, we experience whack servers. Like, all of those things happen. It's not unheard of. When you have a problem, bring it to the attention of the restaurant manager and see if they can accommodate. But to try to act like stuff, regular, ordinary life occurrences, are hindrances from people picking up the phone and spending like 5 minutes checking on you, is crazy work. Hey, what is y'all doing? And so, when you part of how you build your confidence and how you establish love for yourself is really taking care of yourself, is setting healthy boundaries, is recognizing quickly that you don't want to be a part of something that someone is trying to give you. Because when you when you allow yourself to be taken for granted, when you allow yourself to be taken advantage of, you're basically telling yourself that you're not worthy of the best treatment. One of the fastest ways to heal your inner child is to do things as an adult that you didn't have as a child. So, like for instance, there's different levels to neglect. Maybe your parent or your parents didn't like abuse you per se, or didn't like leave, put you in a situation where you were homeless or whatever. Even if it was, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, neglect can look like your parent just not being emotionally available to you. Your parent not being, not having the capacity to validate your feelings. And so when you're basically left unprotected by people who you look up to, who you instinctively look up to for protection, it creates, like within your inner child, it creates the energy of not being able to trust people, feeling abandoned, feeling rejected. When somebody like if you had a parent who was at home but really wasn't at home, like really wasn't with you or around you, then that's a whole issue. Because if your parent was physically at home but energetically and emotionally checked out from you, you basically had to raise yourself. Like if your parent was so depressed or so high or whatever that they couldn't wash clothes and wash dishes and clean up and cook dinner, and you basically was having to fend for yourself at a very young age, like if you were having to, there, of course, there's different stages of when children should start to learn how to do stuff. But like if you burned yourself as a child because you were trying to fry chicken or boil hot water for noodles or something as a very small child, like if you were short where you had to put a damn step stool up to the damn stove and shit, like you should not be doing stuff like that, especially at the very least unaccompanied. And there's some parents who were just suffering mentally. And I'm not making excuses for people per se, because I think that people do have to take accountability for their actions or inaction. But at the same time, think about a time when you may have felt depressed. Think about a time when you were like, I'm just gonna, get something to drink, or, smoke or whatever, just to numb the pain, not deal with your issues. Like our parents were no different from, regular ass people. And so I know that society has created this situation where, and I'm not talking about when a child is too young to care for themselves, but I'm just talking about like society has created this environment where people feel obligated to parents, because just by virtue of them being a physical parent, people feel obligated to adult children because you gave birth to them, and you just allow yourself to be treated any kind of way. You allow people to just talk to you real reckless. And energetically, when you don't stand up for yourself, when you don't defend your honor, basically, when you're not protecting yourself, because like a parent should be defending their child to show the child, how to eventually begin to defend themselves. But if they're not doing that, and on top of that, if the parent is allowing someone else to be emotionally, mentally, verbally, physically abusive, now you have two people that are a party to the bullshit. And so it's very important for us to think about those things and just sit with it and acknowledge it. And just, I'm not saying be a negative Nancy all day every day. Hey, I don't want to tear your name up, but so yeah. Thank you for the likes. I feel like Spirit is showing me like jello shots. So if you were recently with a group of people, like maybe some people you consider close friends or whatever, and it involved jello shots, Spirit is like, those are not your friends. Because people will really put on a front. They will really smile in your face. Because there are people out here who just simply want to make it look like they have a lot of friends, but like really people not checking for them like that. And so, that's where you get people who will, talk shit to your face, laugh about you behind your back, secretly can't stand you, secretly wishing ill will upon you, can't stand when you have a man or a girlfriend or whatever. And I mean, like, this jealousy shit and competitiveness is so ridiculous. Like, I promise you, like, I know how protected I am. I know that I don't have to worry about spell work and people coming against anything that is meant for me. But I keep certain things to myself just so that people don't feel like, just to like not give people fuel to get themselves jacked up. Because I already know if you are messing with somebody who is very heavily protected, or you are trying to interfere with a divine union, and I keep talking about this divine union, I just want these people to finally get together so I can stop talking about it. But if you're trying to come in between a divine union, like say you had your eye on somebody and you're really feeling them, maybe they're flirtatious, so you think they feeling you, but they not really feeling you. They waiting on their divine feminine or their divine masculine. And like, my thing is this: unless the person has actually come to me and said to me, I'm feeling you, I would like to get to know you better and possibly, it could turn into a relationship or marriage or both or whatever. Unless a person says that to me, I make it a point not to overthink shit, read into shit. And I'm a reader, but I have to also be very careful, like not to violate other people's free will, not to be reading energy that I haven't gotten permission to read. And so, hey Sophia, you know, like I used to do this, but I stopped doing this shit. Like, you know, seeing your future with somebody that may not even know that you like them, or like creating this whole movie in your head about you being with somebody that they may actually have a girlfriend, or they may actually be engaged or married or some shit. Like, I just allow everything to unfold the way it's supposed to unfold. And that's a very liberating place to be, because when you are detached from the outcome, and even though, you know, it may be something that you really want to happen, but you're not trying to rush things, you're not trying to push the issue or anything like that. And, you know, it allows people to be themselves. It allows people to be free. And knowing yourself, loving yourself, protecting yourself, taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, being good to yourself. You know, like, if you're not keeping up with your hygiene, if you're not washing your clothes and looking nice on a daily basis, you know, you can go get makeup at the Dollar Tree. Like, things don't have to be extremely expensive. You can do things for yourself to make yourself feel better, you know, on a minimal budget. Because when we live in chaos, like, when, you know, if we're not cleaning up our space, if we just have a bunch of accumulated crap all over the place, boxes, like, you know, excess stuff, retail therapy, you know, bags everywhere with stuff you haven't even taken it out of the bag. Okay. So, when you have all of that going on, that is a direct reflection of what's going on internally, mentally and emotionally. And so one of the signs of, you know, having an issue with depression is not having the motivation to do anything, or to, you know, not having the motivation to get up and cook yourself something to eat, or clean up, or take a shower, or whatever. And I've been there. This is no shade to anyone. But if you're feeling like that, and like your house is falling apart around you, hey, just me. Those are signs where you need to really evaluate what is keeping you stuck. And I feel like Spirit is saying dwelling on the past. Replaying past events, past scenarios, conversations, wishing you had said things differently, wishing you had raised your voice, wishing you had thrown something across the room, wishing, you know, you had met the person, wishing you had never allowed yourself to be taken advantage of. though all of that, like wishing this and oh my God, I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had. Okay, well, it's over now. And I'm a firm believer that everything in my life has happened for a reason. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. And so if, let's just say everything does happen for a reason, how you respond is how your future looks. So if you're responding with woe is me, I'm a victim, I can't change the past, so I'm just gonna sit here and feel bad for myself and not take any action toward doing anything different from the future. I'm just gonna let all the past bullshit come into the future. Like, that's a no. Lord, why I got to block people already? People are damn. Y'all don't have enough time on your hands. Seriously. Sorry, I'm not trying to send an invitation. Oh my God. I'm just trying to scroll the comments up. Anyway. It's always a distraction when I'm speaking truth, and the head of that thing is right near my mouth. I am so, like, outdone. And then the fool had the nerve to write hello, like say hello to my little friend. Let me tell you something. Hey Jada, is it Jada? Look, I'm trying to read it. Is that Kylie? Hi Kylie. When you So I'm not gonna take it to the place that the church takes it. I'm gonna try not to. But Spirit wants me to talk about Smek's magic and how powerful it is. And especially like, and let me preface this by saying trigger warning, because there's no, other than how I'm about to phrase it, like it's still, the visual is going to be there. So if you are running red lights with people, you are performing a blood sacrifice. Or like a blood ritual. Because if you think about it, the lining of a woman's uterus is how a baby is sustained during gestation. And it's also like what, like it's part, I was about to say portal. It's part of the portal system. So anything going on in that region has the potential to be very supernatural. And so with Smek's magic, that is some very powerful shit. If y'all agree to manifest while doing that, like if beforehand you pray and meditate, and I know that could be weird for some people because like I can't think about the spirit realm or my spirit team during that time. Like, it's hard. Like, so I don't know. I'm just suggesting this. I don't know if I would be able to pray and meditate beforehand. I probably could. But all I'm saying is, even if you have a conversation with the person, like, this is what we want, this is what we're manifesting, you know, we put a bid in for this house, we want to win the bid on the house, we're trying to sell the house, we want top dollar for the house, blah, blah, blah. Just whatever you want to see in your life. I mean, it would be amazing for both of y'all to be together and be like, yo, I need to heal my trust issues. He may need to heal his abandonment issues. And we both set intentions for our spirit guides and for us to be healing those things in the process of SMICS. That's when it becomes very powerful, but it loses its power when a woman is placed in a position that she doesn't want to be in. So if a woman has a desire to be married and you put her in a situationship and or a love triangle or something like that, she's giving her power away. Like I'm hearing like a sieve. Like, it's basically just pouring out. And it's the feminine energy that supercharges the SMEX process and the magic done during that time. Because if you think about it, Isis energy is the one that put Osiris back together, metaphorically. So as a woman, your aura, your energy, your womb, all of that is extremely healing because you have creative energy. You have healing energy, you have creative energy. Your body is a portal you're basically a bridge between the spirit realm and the earthly realm. Your body has a different kind of intelligence from a masculine because of that. So the information and all the power and everything that is being downloaded into the feminine womb space is on a totally different level from a man's wand. And that's no shade to men at all, because men are very powerful in their own right. They're very intuitive. They're very magical. So I'm not trying to downplay the masculine role at all, but there's a reason why the feminine energy is the type of energy that can like restore people to what they were before they were traumatized or ripped apart, or, you know, not literally, but, you know, broken down mentally. And what happens a lot of times is that men especially will come into a relationship with a very healing woman, and instead of allowing her to heal the person just by virtue of being in her energy, they run from it because it's like foreign, or it feels like it's too quick, or it feels like the feelings are too strong or whatever. But the spirit has been talking to me about the fact that every time a divine feminine heals a part of herself, she is simultaneously healing her masculine. So whether you're in a relationship with this person or you haven't met this person, whoever is going to be your person is being simultaneously healed as you are healing. And that's extremely powerful. And that's why the feminine energy should be worshipped. And I'm not saying like literally on your hands and knees, like washing their feet every day, licking the toes and whatever. I'm talking about just honored. Not saying that the feminine doesn't need to return that same honor to her masculine, but like I said, because of the creative power of a woman, when a man or anybody for that matter worships the feminine, it like supercharges the universe. Massive shifts happen, massive transformation, massive transmutation of energy. And these are all the reasons why the feminine has been suppressed, the feminine has been demonized, the feminine has been accused of being the one that caused the fall and caused all this chaos and put all this bullshit in motion. Let me tell you something. If I find somebody that knows how to worship me, I'll that person. I'm laughing because I'm like, there's nothing I wouldn't do. Because like that type of energy activates your person. So like masculines can do all that. Oh, I want to like resist putting a woman on a pedestal or resist worshiping her. Now I'm talking about divine feminines. I'm not talking about these raggedy chicks out here that's just trying to get somebody for a free fucking meal. Fuck them. I'm talking about a divine feminine who has standards for herself. She knows her worth and value, and she holds herself in high esteem. It's not about being conceited or mean girl or anything like that. It's just about loving yourself more than you love other people. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. I realize now that when I would go to church and I would worship in church, I was actually worshiping my higher self. That's who you're supposed to be worshiping, because your higher self is the portion of your energy that exists in spirit, but that's still connected to your energy. And that's why, like, when I'm doing readings, I say higher self spirit, what does the collective need to know? Or higher self spirit, what does such and such need to know? Because it's my higher self that is really running the show. I'm on autopilot. I might as well be a damn, I don't even want to call the name of those self-driving cars, but I mean, I could be a damn Waymo. Because everything, when I say everything I have had to encounter, every exchange of words, every, circumstance that I've been put in has been specifically designed for me to help me to remember who I am. So, for instance, the college I went to, their like motto is in truth and service. And I'm very connected to like bring justice and ma'at and bring balance, but speaking my truth. So when in the process of bringing balance to yourself, you also have a responsibility to speak your truth. I used to let people gaslight me to the point where I would be speaking my truth and the person would be like, "You're so argumentative. We've been arguing since we met." Like, okay, if you feel like me speaking my truth is translates in your brain to arguing, then we're not compatible. Because I'm having a calm conversation. I'm not raising my voice. I'm just simply speaking like what I didn't appreciate about an exchange or inaction or something like that. And the other person should be able to talk to you like that. And you should be able to talk to your person like that. Because when you don't have good communication, you're setting yourselves up for failure. Because those be the relationships where one or both people will be like, "I didn't see it coming. I thought everything was great between us. Like, I thought that it was all good." Huh? Y'all don't even talk, but it's all good. Like you can't stand the way this person chews. And you've hated that shit for years, but you won't say anything about it. Because I mean, if somebody has a crazy way of eating, that might not be able to change. Hey, book. Thank you for the heartbeat. Yeah. Okay, thank you. That's the greeting I needed. You be coming in here playing. Thank you for the roses. But yeah. So I mean, if the person is chewing all crazy and it's because they weren't taught to keep their mouth closed. Oh, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. I was struggling to get on here today, but I was like, I need to come on here. Like there's a difference between having like something wrong with their mouth versus I just wasn't taught to eat with my mouth closed or something like that. So all I'm saying is, like people really be surprised or pretending like they're surprised when they think everything is great in a relationship and it is not. So I'm just saying, we got to do better. Alright, so Spirit, what else does the collective need to know? My spirit team be acting foolish. What you want them to know for Cinco de Mayo? Why y'all want to cut up when I get on here? No, ma'am. No. Now I'm getting a bunch of downloads, and I'm not trying to be up here sounding crazy. Oh my God, y'all, like, y'all are tripping. I don't even want to read this the way my spirit team is telling me to read these cards. That's another thing about the spirit realm. If y'all could understand how fucking unserious the spirit realm be, how damn unholier than thou. Now, there's certain things that my spirit team and my higher self are very serious about. Like when it comes to how people are perceived or like how they're talked about with regard to, like, I don't want to say this. So if there's an energy that's held in very high honor, like say someone is describing how that energy looks, they don't play that game where they're just gonna let somebody describe that person any kind of way. Like they can be very strict about certain things, but like all of that, like trying to make, and however you perceive Jesus or whatever you make that story, energy, or whatever out to be. If you think about the story of Jesus, like he was made out to be this holier than thou person that never committed a sin, never did anything or said anything wrong. And like I'm here to tell you that if that energy was ever in a human vessel previously, it was nothing like that. And if the church people want to come for me, they can come for me. Because I know for a fact, with the spiritual rank that I possess, with all of the crazy shit that I've endured, like when I found out who I was like, y'all gotta be shitting me right now, because I done did some wild shit out here. I was like, how could that be possible? First of all, just by having a termination of a pregnancy was like blew me away. When I found out who I was like, so we have no real true, like, as long, even as powerful as I am, as long as I'm in a vessel, I don't know if they're saying I am, but all I'm saying is it's very difficult to conceptualize what's happening on earth from a spiritual perspective when you're in a human vessel. Because just by virtue of being in a human vessel, like not really knowing who you are, moving through life based on all of the mental programming. So, like from the time your mother was pregnant with you, there's all these different things that come along with pregnancy that we're taught that doesn't have to be. You know, if I truly knew better, I would have had a lotus birth. I probably would have had a doula at the house. I mean, I did have my oldest son at the house, but that was an accident. Thank you for the likes. That was a whole ass accident. But I would have done things very differently. But yeah, so like when I was in middle school, and that's what was so wild to me is that I was the craziest when I was in middle school. Like my mother actually had to go to the school and lie for me because they were like, your girl has missed like 90 days of school. Or it might have been more than that. But they told my mother that I probably would not graduate. Like I was passing in school in the 8th grade, but they were like, we can't graduate her with all these absences. And so my mother was like, look, on this day she went to the doctor, and like my mom was very politically connected to where I lived. So they just let her sit in there and run down the list and was like, she was, out sick. She was at the doctor. She was at a funeral. Like they just let her make up some shit so I could graduate. I was chasing boys. I was on trains and ferries and shit going to Staten Island. Like, and then got stuck there because we ain't have enough money to get back because we done used our damn lunch money to get there. Then, as I'm on the train coming back, this man handled his business in front of me, if you know what I mean. And then deposited his stuff on the floor in front of me, and I was just like, this cannot be life. This cannot be my life. So, yeah, like if I sat here and lived in regret about the stuff that I did, the things that I said, just anything and everything, I would probably have tried to take myself out of here. I mean, not that like leaving here and going there means something different, because you still gonna be judged. And that's the other big lie that the church traditional religion tells us, is that we're somehow gonna be covered by the blood. No. Let me tell you something. With all of the work that I have done for the benefit of my bloodline, I can't even imagine somebody coming here and saying, I'm just gonna sacrifice myself for entire humanity. It would have been way worse than the even him being whipped and nailed to the cross and all that stuff. It would have been way worse. Are you kidding me? So was that whole situation a reflection of the awakening process? Yes. And especially when your awakening is very publicly humiliating, like you're basically crucifying yourself in public. And it's one of those situations where it like rapidly changes your life overnight. But the good thing is that the flip side of that is that just like something, an awakening can rapidly change your life overnight and it be total chaos, your life can also change overnight and it be everything that you have been manifesting over the years plus a million times more. And that's coming from somebody who I got a lot of things under my belt between just running my mouth, being reckless with how I talk to people, just a lot of different things. So yeah, I feel like you had to face your demons. Like that's really what an awakening is. Because like the energies that you incarnate with are the same energies that you incarnate with over and over and over again. So my mother this lifetime has been my sister in a past lifetime. My father this lifetime has been, maybe a love interest in a past life, but we just continuously incarnate with each other. And you're just constantly trying to work things out within the bloodline. And people really come here with high hopes. Like this is some really difficult shit. I'm gonna tell you, if you came like just to physically be here in a meat suit and having to go through like the human experience and all the things that come along with that, you bad. Because this is some of the hardest shit to do. Because on top of everything else, like on top of like opposition and um suffering and having to heal from whatever trauma you went through, you also like there have been so many times when I had to apologize and I just did not want to apologize. And I really had to dig deep and give a genuine apology, because if I don't mean that shit, I'm gonna be like, yeah, my bad. Sorry. And everybody can see that that's not genuine. Just my energy, just by how my face looked, just by the tone of my voice, how I said it. Like I had to actually apologize. Like I did this, I said this, and I was dead wrong for it. And I probably, how did I make you feel? That was fucked up. Like I wanted to slap the shit out of you. Whatever they wanted to say to me, okay, I apologize. But on top of having to like humble myself and apologize, I will also then have to follow it up with trying to make sure that the shit never happened again. So imagine I have a lot of fire in my chart and my Mercury is in Aries. And so Mercury is how you communicate. And for my Mercury to be in a fire sign, that's why I can say something. It's the wildest shit. Hey, stop. This has happened all my life. I can say something and the person that is listening to what I'm saying will be totally triggered, totally pissed off, won't receive the message, but then somebody else could come behind me and say the same fucking thing. But just because it came from the other person, the person receives the fucking message, bitch. Thank you for the heart, for the finger hearts. I appreciate you. I don't know. You might be the only one in here. I think there's 2 people. Book 'em. Let me tell you something. I was sitting here and talk to myself. You said I've been through that a lot. Okay, yeah. I mean, I knew, like, if when you're dealing with it, it feels like you're the only one, but like that shit is crazy. I mean, it can happen. And see, the thing is that I'm so direct that I sometimes, depending upon who I'm dealing with, because I teach. So in order for me to not like come across as like to people in the classroom, I'll observe people's facial expressions when I say certain things, and if I think the person is misinterpreting what I'm saying, then I will explain myself further. But some things you just gotta say. Like, why the fuck is we beating around the bush? I have never been able to vibe with somebody who was like a people pleaser to the point where they would just say whatever to make people happy, or just say whatever to make themselves look like a nice person, or just shit like that. I can't. It's very hard for me to do inauthenticity. I almost couldn't say that. So if I can deal with inauthenticity at work or somewhere that I have to be, but I'm not gonna deal with that shit somewhere that I'm like in a social setting. Hell no. Even if it's with my family, if like I don't have to be around those people, you can set boundaries with your family. I do, and I don't think twice about it. Especially if I need to send a message to someone, like I'm not just saying stop fucking with me like that. I'm showing you're not gonna fuck with me like that. So, but I'm not out here just trying to offend people or tear people down. I'm especially careful about how I speak to men, because I know that men have been so emasculated over time, have been so like beat down and traumatized by life in general, that I don't want to be someone to add to that. And I mean women as well, and especially minority women. So like at this point in my life, I would not last a minute with anybody who was like disrespectful or like gaslit me or called me names or talked about my body or how I looked or some shit like Now we can have a real conversation. Like if the person was like, I would really like for you to lose some weight, I probably already know that I need to lose some weight. So I'm not offended by stuff like that, because I know that it's also for my health and for my well-being. It's all about how you deal with the situation. So what else, Spirit? Y'all done had me all over the damn place. And I feel like Spirit is saying that is how people know how to love the other person, how they need to be loved. Um, it's not just, I mean, communication is very big because that's really the only way you gonna know how that person receives love. But having a high level of respect for the person's feelings, um considering what they've been through before you say certain things. And one thing I had a serious problem with this when I was married is bringing up old shit. That was something I had to really look at. Please, Onyx, stop. But yeah, I really had to look at the fact that, like, with my ex-husband, I would bring up old stuff. Like, it would be, damn, a year later, and I'm still bringing up shit. So that was one of the things that I really had to work on. And I'm not the type of person that, I just lost my train of thought. But I feel like I tell these stories and I talk about my experiences because somebody needs to get the message, and it needs to come through like my story. Who's that? I can't even see. My damn glasses and my contacts is jacked up today. Hey, I can't even read it though. Is Amanda? Or you calling my name? I was like, both. Oh, it's Amanda. Okay, now I can see it. Honey, let me tell you something. My eyesight is so bad that I was trying to get LASIK surgery. And when I went to the LASIK place, they were like, oh, you can get it. They were like, you're at the threshold though, because I have astigmatism. And so they were like, medically, by, the FDA guidelines, you're right at the threshold, like on the line. You said been a day. Okay. I hope it gets better. Hopefully you get some good sleep. You said you hate the stigmatism. Yeah, so I went there and I was like, my spirit was like, go get a second opinion. So I went and got a second opinion, and the doctor was like, if you had gotten LASIK surgery, you would have been blind in like 2 years. I was like, come again, say what? Oh, a cardiologist appointment in the morning. Okay, I hope I'm sending you lots of love. I hope everything goes well. Yeah, because I was just like, oh my God. But like, it's by design because I use my third eye. My third eye is way more powerful than my actual human eyes. And I guess, like, for me to be doing what I'm doing, I have to sacrifice my human eyes for my third eye. I don't know. Don't be laughing at me. Yeah, it is scary because I'm like blind. Like, so y'all just wanted my money that bad that y'all were gonna let me risk being blind. Nah. So since my regular glasses look like old school Coke bottles, oh Lord, now you're gonna make me read the comments. You're gonna make me read the comments. He said, not only my eyes bad, my ears don't hear for shit. Oh my God. He said that part, they was like, we gonna take that money. Right. Oh, you say I'd say it out loud if I could. Man. Straight up money driven. I was talking about the other day that I had a surgery that I really didn't have to have. Didn't know it at the time. But like I've said this before, I've had to go through like different things, even medically, in order for me to clear karmic cycles in those areas. Because like also with that surgery, I was denied by my insurance because they said it was a congenital defect. So like I have an extra vein out of my abdomen that goes into my kidney, but it was collapsing or compressing my ureter. So the ureter takes the urine from your kidneys to your bladder. You said be back, catching. Okay. Thank you for stopping in. I know you're working. But so they basically said they denied my insurance, saying it was a congenital defect. So then they didn't deny it until after I had it done. So I've got now a $40,000 surgery and a denial. Because initially they were going to do it, but then somebody doubled back and was like, no, we don't cover that. You said there's who trying? Oh, back here behind me. Oh Lord! See, the puppy is bigger than Onyx, and she can stand up. Okay, she can stand up on her hind legs. I need to pay attention to that because I'm not looking at the background. Thank you for letting me know. I'm constantly telling her to get down. She was at the stove. Okay. Y'all don't be talking about me. I know, look, if anybody's watching, they're going to be like, shit, I ain't know. I do clean up. I know this is not like the typical black dog parent household. Oh my God. This shit's crazy. But, so, hi Rebecca. You said they was like, no, they should not be hungry because I fed them this time. Normally, I wait until after live, but I fed them before the live. She might have been trying to get to those snacks because the snacks are on the counter right next to the stove. So I probably need to put those snacks in the pantry because... yeah, they're babies. Well, Onyx is 4, but she's only 6 months. And she's going to be tall because her mom, she's like half a, regular poodle. And I think she's mixed with golden doodle. But Onyx is a toy poodle and a shih tzu. Yeah, she's going to be tall. But she's only 6 months old. So we trying to get it together. I'm just looking forward to having a house with a backyard. A mansion, actually, I should say. You said, tell your spirit to holler when the dog is trying. Right! Like, make my ear ring or something. Shit. Because when I tell you, I've looked at like dog training videos and all kinds of shit. So she was a rescue dog, and she went from being in a really bad situation as like a puppy, because I think the rescue people got her when she was maybe a couple weeks old, 2 or 3 weeks old maybe. And then she was in confinement for months. So our sheriff's department has, they have like an animal rescue division. And so they have to keep them in this old jail downtown. And so they don't like, it hasn't been in use as a jail in a really long time. And they put like murals and stuff on the wall so that the dogs aren't like, they feel everything. So like she was feeling the energy of that old building. And then they were in confinement for the most part because, puppies, they can't really go out around other dogs until they have both parvo shots. So there was a lot of dynamics with her. Now, I'm not saying that I'm good at dog training or that I have trained Onyx well. I'm just saying that she has some additional challenges. But she's very smart. Very smart. I was taking her for a walk, and a part of, and I feel like I'm telling this story about her trauma because there may be somebody that's in the collective that's dealing with like anxiety. But like because of the trauma that she experienced, she is scared around people. She gets shaky. She doesn't like going for walks because she's used to being just in confinement. So she, everything is scary to her. And I try to take her out just to get her used to going out and being on a leash and stuff like that. But I took the 2 of them out one time, and her, she had like just a collar thing, and it slipped off of her head. And when I tell you, she took off running. And I was so scared because I was like, if she sees anybody, she's gonna freak the fuck out. And so I'm thinking she's like running aimlessly. She's gonna get more lost because all these buildings look the same. And I came running over to the house, and she was sitting in front of the house, in front of my apartment. So she knew exactly what she was doing. So she is very smart. But okay. So yeah, she's a poodle, a regular size poodle mixed, I think, with golden doodle or something. I think she's a golden doodle, like golden retriever. Because she was the only one in her litter that has straight hair. All the other little puppies had the mom's curly hair. So I'm thinking they're mixed. Because golden doodles are a pretty popular mix. Now that I see Cavapoos, I'm like, but I mean, I really didn't have a choice because, like I said, she's a rescue dog. They did have a litter of Yorkies. And, you know, sometimes I feel like I should have gotten a Yorkie because the dog is smaller, closer to Onyx size. But when I got her, my higher self said, you got to pick of the litter. And I was like, okay. So, you know, there's a reason for everything. You say you got who you were supposed to have. Exactly. Yeah. There's a reason for everything. So, and dogs are very significant. Dogs are protection in the physical. So cats are more like spiritual protection and dogs are more physical protection. And dogs, like, I'm not gonna say dogs because I believe they're more jackals. They're like jackals. They're not necessarily dogs, but they're in the dog family. So I believe it's jackals that actually protect the different realms in the spirit realm. So there's like with the I'm not from this lifetime, I'm not well versed on the Book of Gates, but there's different like gates. I think there's like 9 gates or something like that in the spirit realm. And dogs are gatekeepers, or jackals are gatekeepers of the different realms of existence in the spirit realm. So there's like I had an energy reading done. It's called scrying, and the person, like, my energy projects onto the paper and the person just traces the energy. And so my energy on a piece of paper, one of the pieces she did for me, it looks like my energy is like different realms. So there's one realm at the bottom where that's the judgment realm, because like I'm seated on a throne and like I have a book in my hand that looks like the 10 Commandments. I really feel like it's my, but you know, it's a book with like, it's basically, it could even be interpreted as the Akashic record for the person. So I'm sitting there with this book, and there's somebody that's next to me that's like kneeling and praying, asking not to be sent wherever. And so, like, and then I'm at the top as well. So I'm at the top with the sun around my head and with a star on my eye. And so I'm in different realms at the same time, and like I was over to the side in you know, a different realm. So like your energy, like my energy is very ancient, so it has like so many different dimensions to it, more so than, you know, other energies who may not have been incarnating as much, because it's basically like the more you incarnate, the more you grow your soul, the more you grow your energy. So every lifetime, every experience, all of that is like, you know, maturing your energy, if you will. You said must have a lot of patience. For, you mean because of how big my energy is, because it's in different realms, you mean? I don't know if I have a lot of patience. Oh no, but see, I don't get inundated with stuff like that. Like my spirit, I was saying, I've said this before, but like when I'm doing readings, I'm not seeing or hearing anything. So other readers may have the gift of like hearing voices audibly or actually seeing images like the energy outline or whatever and seeing how the person looked. um I'm only seeing those things in my mind's eye. And so that's why, like, it was funny that I was talking about my horrible eyesight earlier, but I legit have a very, very powerful third eye. So, like, they were like, in order for us to supercharge your third eye, because it's actually a crystal that's in that picture as well. Um, so they're like, in order for us to run your third eye the way we need to, you gonna have to like, we gonna have to like turn down your human eyes. And so yeah. So I will say facing your demons has gotten you closer to your goal. So whatever it is that you've been manifesting, whatever it is that you've been cultivating through your gifts, you having to face your darkness is what is unlocking this gate to your abundance. And it's interesting because I was just talking about the Book of Gates, and then we have a gate. And so, they're kind of talking about like my picture and the different realms and the different gates, and the fact that like you have to go through different things in order to get access to the different gates. So, there's the first realm, there's the judgment realm, and then if depending upon how that goes, then they'll be like, okay, you can go up one level, or if the person just totally blew that life, they gonna be like, you gonna have to go back, run it back. So I mean, if you want to consider this hell, we might as well consider this hell, because this is where you got to run it back when you have not done what the fuck you supposed to do. And for this to be lower to the judgment realm, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, y'all tell me. I'm just saying. And then the crazy part is I'm talking about this being hell, and we got the devil and the gate. So we at the gate of hell. We in the hell gate. And look, we got this damn 9 of Wands. This is that fire, that hell fire and brimstone. Because, like, she's accomplished now, but, like, every wand that she had to fight or be hit with, she either had to fight with a wand or she had to be hit with a wand. And these are all the victories that she's accumulated in order to get to, like, the next level. So, with all of those accomplishments, like, thank you. With all of those accomplishments, If you accumulated 9 wands, then you can go to the ninth gate. Because not only, when you have this many victories under your belt, first of all, it's an indication that you're a spiritual warrior and you bout that life. Okay. You bout that life for you. You bout that life for your bloodline. You bout that life for humanity. He said, I talk, I just can't understand. What do you mean? And they're talking about the Four of Wands in reverse. So I feel like that's a representation of like a failed marriage, because the Four of Wands in the upright it could talk about marriage. So I feel like that's a failed marriage. Like maybe you went through a divorce. And because it's Four Wands, I feel like there may have been 4 very significant relationships that you have gone through that has shaped you to be in this God of Cups energy. Like it's helped you to really master your emotions, master your energy, mature emotionally, become emotionally stable. You said, I have my spirits I speak to, but I cannot understand their communication. About a year ago. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm not hearing or seeing anything, I have to really like be mindful of very nuanced things. And so that's one of those reasons why I had to face so much opposition. Because, like I was talking about on a video I posted, that your energy, like you have to master your own energy to be able to read energy. Like you have to master your energy. It's almost like, to really be a good reader, you have to master your energy as well as like analyze other people's energy. So while you're interacting with other people, you're analyzing their energy filtered through your energy. So you're basically working through both energies, because if you're dating someone and y'all are having an argument or whatever, and you know, it gets real heated. I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Let me find it. What was I saying? You said I always walk away when it gets heated. What was I about to say about a heated argument? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was getting ready to say. I lost my train of thought because I'm getting so much information at one time. Okay, so I think what I was trying to say is that while you're interacting with the person and the exchange gets heated, you have to figure out how to manage your energy along with the other person or people's energy. And so in the process of doing all that simultaneously, you're learning how a multitude of energies feel. And so that's why like readers can be very, very sensitive to shifts in energy, and like when you walk in a room, how the energy feels, and all of that. You said I'm gonna shut up now. Dang, you getting a lot about me. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'm glad it's resonating with somebody, because I really feel like I'm just talking. But yeah, like you're having to master your energy and other people's energy. And that's how you become, I'm hearing that's how you become an ascended master, but that's basically how you raise the kundalini. That's what they're saying. Stop. Relax. But yeah, they're talking about raising the kundalini, and so it's almost like, this is wild, but it's almost like spirit is saying you collect energy. So when you saw her next to me, yeah. So it's like when you interact with people, you're collecting like data. This is crazy. When somebody I'm talking to, your mind work on a completely different plane, because I'm not sure how the fuck a human brain is like AI, where you collecting energetic data on people. Come on now. I don't know what that is, but one of y'all I'm talking to, hell, all of y'all, somebody under the sound of my voice is supernatural as hell. You said I ain't no collector though. Not for me. Well, when I say that, I say it very lightly. I'm not talking about an energy. I'm not talking about harvesting energy. I'm not talking about being an energy vampire or anything like that. Hell no. No. Cuz those are all very like traumatizing energies for people. Like I dated someone where he drained my energy so badly, I would have a whole night's sleep in the bed with him, and I would wake up like I felt like I didn't sleep a minute. Um, you said the matching people's energy, you get from me what you put out. Yeah, I feel you on that. And I definitely mirror people. So like if somebody is doing something to me, I just start mirroring them back to themselves. Like, oh, we could do this. Like two could play that game. Cause if you want to play, you want to play semantics with me and shit. Like I'm a wordsmith. I write poetry. Don't play with me. So yeah, don't do that. Cause we can play with semantics all day. But people like to do that to gaslight people. Yes, honey. I write poetry. I actually helped to write a book. I'm not gonna name the name of the book because it was some bullshit. But I was supposed to be co-authoring a book, and I ended up writing 90% of the book. And because it was this other person's platform, like she was gonna give me credit, but like the whole terms of the agreement and like what my payout was supposed to be, because she was putting all the upfront money because it was really for her business. So she was gonna recoup that money, but then there was nothing really solid as far as what percentage I was getting and all that. I was like, you know what? Take my name off of that shit and you can have it. And now I know how my spirit team is set up. I know my spirit team was mollywhopping that bitch. Because she was holding herself out to be an attorney. Now, there's a difference between an attorney and someone who went to law school. So, I don't think she was holding herself out to be an attorney. She was holding herself out to definitely have graduated law school. But so there's a difference between an attorney and a person that went to law school. The attorney has actually passed the bar and has a license number, a bar number. If you just went to law school and you didn't sit for the bar or you didn't pass the bar, then you have a Juris Doctorate, a JD. That's it. And so she was holding herself out to be someone who, finished law school. She wasn't practicing, of course, but I was like, how you gonna say that you went to law school but you don't have a contract for me? Come on now. Thank you for sharing the live. So yeah, like I ain't have time for that shit. So I just gave her the book. But at any rate, all right. We have the Two of Pentacles, and I just feel like this is a representation of the unlimited abundance, because she has there's an infinity symbol around the pentacles, and then there's a waterfall in the back. So it's water, it's greenery. It's it's giving natural resources, and these natural resources are very valuable. That's why we at war now. So, and I don't know what I can say on these TikTok streets, but it's giving you're gonna have control over natural resources. Yeah, so like I was saying, going through everything that you went through is how you raise the kundalini, because she has like a snake around her waist. And so all of that, like mental pain, being in your head a lot, overthinking, overanalyzing, being too hard on yourself, like there's a light that's shining on her. And so, like, you shining a light on all of that internal stuff that was going on, you were able to unleash the Kundalini. And then on top of that, so those are two separate mechanisms. You said, oh, just sit and listen. So there's um there's two different mechanisms. So you can reprogram your mind, but your energy could still be imbalanced or dysregulated. And so even after you get past the mental part, like, so the awakening is also like, the Kundalini is also part of the awakening process because it blasts your third eye open. Thank you for the finger hearts. Thank you. So the Kundalini blasts your crown chakra open, and you start being able to get like uninhibited direct communication from the divine. So it's almost like the comparison they're making is like having a skull that has that opening at the top, like when a baby is first born, they have that soft spot. So basically, they're saying, physically, so you got to think about this from a spiritual perspective. Physically, there's a reason for the baby to have a soft spot. It helps them, their skull be more movable, so when they're coming through the birth canal and all that. I get that from a scientific perspective, but from a spiritual perspective, that basically that hole was, I'm hearing, the entry point. So when your soul is entering the body, the entry point is that soft spot. And it seals up, and when it seals up, that's where you're basically closed off from the spirit realm. So, like, they talk about how children are very intricately connected to and close to the spirit realm when they're little. And so now what they're saying about the opening at the top of the skull, that's that's where they're getting direct communication. And then as the skull like closes up, that's when we become more like human, if you will. Like, we're always going to be fully human and fully divine, but so normally there would be a balance of the two, but you become imbalanced as a human vessel so that you can go through the human experience. Because if your crown chakra was open and you had access to all this information and wisdom and downloads and being tapped in and being able to see things before it happens, like if you had all of that going, it would be harder to get through life, because it'd be like, oh well, I know why this is happening, because you're enlightened at that point. So you're like, oh well, I'm looking at all of this from a higher perspective. It's not bothering me at all. Like, that's how somebody can incarnate and be like a sinless person, if you will, because they already see everything from a spiritual perspective, from a high level of consciousness. And so in order for us to have a fully human experience, there has to be like a wilderness period. So I had just posted a video where I was like, I roamed this earth for 40 years in the wilderness, not having any clue that I was this supernatural being, because I was, having to just go through the process. And I talked about like the church and, being scared of readings and stuff like that. So like all of that was by design, because I had to be like brainwashed by the world, and I had to be like of the world in order to know that I was like, in order for me to think, I had to think, let me get my words together. I had to think that I was fully human in order for me to have a fully human experience. Because the enlightened me is like, oh, if he doesn't want to date me, I'm cool with that. Oh, if this person treats me poorly, I know it's because of this, this, and this. I like back in the day, if somebody broke up with me, I'd be like, over analyzing everything. Maybe it was my weight, maybe it was my stomach, maybe it was my thighs, maybe it was, just any damn thing I could think of. But it would always be like I would beat myself up. It would always be my fault every time something didn't work out. Like it would be something wrong with me or whatever. I could acknowledge if the relationship was just toxic as hell or abusive or something like that, but it was more so like I would inwardly, try to beat myself up for the situation. But now, like I said, when you're collecting energetic data on your interactions with people, because like I said, when you have full access to the divine, you pretty much become AI. So the way AI, you can type in a search and you could be like, because I actually did this. I was like, help me write a social media script for like, what did I put in there? Abandonment issues or something like that. And so, I don't like being scripted or I don't like sounding mechanical. So, like, I don't know if I would ever do such a thing. But it put together some amazing shit now. It was an amazing, like they were telling me, like they even had it broken down to like um open your live like this and take 5 minutes to welcome people in and ask them to do this, and like it broke it down. And so that's how you become, like when you're channeling information, you're basically pulling information from all the ethers, all the universe, all the akashic records, and you're just like, whatever it is that I'm having to discuss, I'm pulling information from the energy that I've collected. So I hope that's not confusing. But, like the Akashic records are recording everything. So once you have that awakening and you have full access to the divine, you're reading Akashic records all the time. Like that's basically the information that you're pulling from constantly. And so, in order to build up your own Akashic records, your own database, your own reference point where you're pulling information from in order to be able to like string it along in a coherent manner to have a conversation with somebody, that's what we're doing. And like Spirit is talking about how it's interesting that data has become such an expensive commodity or whatever you want to call it. The whole TikTok closure and all of that was largely based on data collection. And that's because they all of that shit um All of that shit is what's powering AI. And AI is becoming more intelligent. And like on a past live, I was talking about AI become like AI replacing humans. Like literally. So like robots and shit. You said I don't want AI here. It can get it like I feel like the divine is going to fully step in before that happens. But like we're on the brink of some shit like that because I know that I've incarnated a lot of times, but this is a very, very important incarnation. Like super important because we're basically experiencing the final judgment on the planet. Like this girl, I reposted her video, but she was talking about how Spirit Airlines shutting down was like the physical, how do I need to put this? It was the physical outward manifestation of what's happening in the spirit. And she was talking about as above, so below. She talked about the fact that Spirit Airlines was in business for 33 years. They closed it on the third day of the month. So now we have 333. And 33 is associated with ascended masters. That's why Jesus was said to be 33 when he was crucified, but it just has to do with the number being associated with an ascended master. And so you have that, you have spirit, and she was saying, now I never heard this before. But she said when you like are on board a plane, you're considered a soul. I had no idea. She said you're not considered a customer, you're not considered a passenger, you're considered a soul. Now I don't know how that translates because I mean everything I've seen from the airport says passenger, but I guess for like maybe the behind the scenes portion, like all the record keeping and whatnot. But either way, like she was talking about how a plane ascends and, just talking about all of like how this situation is mirroring what's happening in spirit. And she's absolutely right because I've been talking about this. I've been saying that people are going to start being separated. They're going to be separated where, like, because so basically the people who will be able to experience heaven on earth are going to be separated from the people who are going to have to eternally remain in a human existence. So, I mean, you could be on this planet and still live like a very supernatural, magical, abundant life. I mean, we're watching it right now. Just the difference in economic statuses and all that. Like, we're basically watching that in action. And so there's going to end up being people that are permanently sat down. Their spirit is going to be permanently sat down, going out of business, left behind. Yes. And so, it's a lot. And the saddest part for me is that people are not ready because all of this Jesus died for your sins and you basically giving people a license to do whatever they fuck they want to do to people for, personal financial gain or whatever. Or, physical gain. All these people that have done all of this crazy essay shit, like, if it's all for personal gain, then, like, Spirit's like, these people aren't ready. Because we have been convinced that one energy came here, was unalived on the cross, and then whenever we transition, we're going to be covered in this blood. And Spirit's like, nah, it doesn't work like that. You're going to be judged based on your action or inaction, whatever it was that you did here, because we're reading your Akashic record. And that's why I said in that picture that, like, how my energy looks on paper, I was sitting there in the judgment realm holding a book. So I wasn't holding a literal scale and weighing their heart on a scale. You're looking at their Akashic record. So when you talk about somebody's Akashic record, you're viewing every single thought. Everything is recorded. Because, like I said, the data is, like, the universe has been collecting data every time that we incarnate here. The universe is collecting our data. And so, when technology starts getting advanced and they start pulling, if I'm hearing from the Akashic records, I don't know how the fuck they were able to pull anything from the Akashic records the way y'all got stuff on lock. I'm assuming that you allowed it to happen for a reason. And look, I'm sitting here having a whole conversation with them, cause I'm just like, you let a mere mortal access Akashic records? Like, I'm gonna have to sit with that one. I feel like they're basically saying, like, it's a variation of the record, but there's different levels to it, like, because everybody has what? Oh, she's chewing on the chair. Look, they've already chewed on it. That's my dad's old chair. It's vintage. I ain't worried about it. But thank you for letting me know. I'm so focused. I'm hearing her chewing on the shit in my ear. Yes, it's a vintage chair. But yeah, so, like, there's individual Akashic records and there's universal Akashic records. And so the universal Akashic records, they have used technology to figure out how to tap into that. But they don't have access to, Mama, stop. They don't have access to like individuals Akashic records for judgment purposes, but they do have some access to the like the ethers, I guess. But so, like, everything that has transpired, and I have to sit more with this because I don't even really get this concept just yet. You said, would you say you're really religious? No. Mm-mm. Absolutely not. Um, there's a place and a purpose for every religion. Like everything under the sun has a purpose, has a spiritual meaning. So I try not to question certain things. There is some validity to the Bible and like Christianity. And so my spirit guides and my higher self have been talking to me about like what parts of the Bible are significant, especially to this time. And it would be the book of Revelation. So like everything isn't 100%, of course, but basically that book especially the gist is there. And um like I would really have to sit more with them about that because I'm just wondering, like, if you actually are relegated to like the lower frequencies of existence, like basically, stop, basically living at, the lowest levels of society. I wonder if like if the individual energy was able to like break out of that, does that mean that they still have an opportunity to transcend the body? Or like, I don't know, I can't process that while I'm here on live. But there's definitely about to be like a separation, a flipping, a transfer of wealth. Because when you have more people coming online with their gifts, and that's what spirit, like the pentacles also represent your gifts. So like the way she has like I guess that would be either a pen or like a paintbrush. Like she's basically using her gifts and her creativity to create her abundance. So your abundance is attached to the creative part of your energy. You said, I feel that we are already segregated as a whole. Yeah, but it's going to be like a total flipping. Actually, the flipping has already occurred, but we're not actually going to be aware until a later date. But so is there anything else you wanted the collective to know? So yeah, like, so basically I feel like what they're saying is there's going to be a massive awakening. So the people who have done enough of the work to like transcend the body while still being in a body, they're going to they're going to be a part of the awakening, and then the other people are going to be still with a closed skull, basically. And so I'm guessing that, they could work to break free of that, but there's a lot of work that's involved. And the problem has been that when you have a very large segment of the population that lives at the lowest vibrational levels, that's how you're able to oppress people. Because it's kind of like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the movie Trading Places, but basically it's just like the movie Trading Places, where they bet $1 that if they put the, um high money maker, living this luxurious, upscale, cream of the crop life, if they put him in the streets, that he would, acclimate to the streets and become a street person. And then the dude from the streets that you put in that environment, he's gonna rise to the occasion. So that's basically what's happening. The flipping is that the people that have been oppressed and kept trapped in their body, um they're the ones that are going to transcend the body while still being in a body. um So instead of it being a situation where they just wait until you get to the other side, when you transition through physical death, um, everybody's gonna be going through a spiritual death and rebirth. And I low key feel like that's why we've had so many like horrible things in this planet, is because people are constantly going through deaths and rebirths, and they're not responding well. And so, like, if you've been traumatized and you just start lashing out on people, then that's gonna create a whole situation for you where you're getting yourself in even more trouble, and then it just keeps snowballing and snowballing. And there's some people that can go to lockup and get rehabilitated and be completely transformed individuals. And then there's some people that just keep going back and going back and going back. I'm here and can't get right. So and to further bring home judgment, we have justice. Yeah, because like I said, justice is being brought to the oppressed. The oppressed. And I feel like Spirit is saying it's the people that did the work, it's the people that left those empty cups behind. You've left behind the things and the people and the places that don't serve your highest and best good. And you chose yourself. You chose yourself, and you also released the baggage. So, like, she's not, even though these cups are empty, and she just left them right where they stand. And that's just how y'all have to do some people sometimes. Like, if they just a fucking empty cup and they have nothing to pour into you with, you leave them and their damn cup right where the fuck they stand. We not, cause like you taking the cup and trying to fill the cup, like Spirit is saying, if you were to take that empty cup from the person we're talking about and go try the, like what people do is when they take the baggage from one relationship to another, you're taking that person's empty cup and you're constantly trying to fill that cup, but it's going nowhere. Like, what are you doing exactly? Like, and then that also is a representation of you letting people circle back too damn much. You said, oh my God, I just text you that. Oh, really? You said, I throw the empty cup at their head. Oh, wow. That's wow. Okay. Well, good. That means I'm reading energy. Okay. Um, but yeah, so like carrying that cup is like basically carrying around emptiness. So as you were pouring from your cup into this person, you were creating voids that were not being filled up. And you're trying to like fill somebody else's cup from your void, is what Spirit is saying. It's not even possible. And so, like, taking a cup with you would be like you knowing that the relationship is emotionally bankrupt. You know that person doesn't give a damn about you. You know that they don't value your mental and emotional well-being. They're not, they don't really care about disappointing you. They don't care about making empty promises. All of those things are like empty cups, but if every time this person drains your cup into their cup, and then they're not then pouring back into you with that cup, like I said, you gonna be trying to fill other people's cups from voids. And we're not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about like trying to pour into your kids with a bunch of voids that you were trying to fill by having the children. And this is no shade because I birthed 3 children from my places of darkness. But you go into these relationships and sometimes both of y'all's cups are empty. And both of you are trying to pour into the relationship from voids. And then one or both of you is like, let me have this baby so we can stay together, so we can make the relationship work. And then that shit, because now you're looking to the baby to fill a void. And that baby, as they get older, the terrible twos put you on your ass. When they first start going to school, it puts you on your ass. Them in high school push you on your ass. Like you're constantly, this child, my higher self is like this demon child that I birthed. And I'm not talking about any of my children. So if they ever see this video, I'm not talking about y'all. I love y'all very much. But you could be looking at the situation like, I done birthed this demon child who I was hoping would be that one person to love me unconditionally. But they not doing nothing but giving me a hard time, giving me their ass to kiss as an adult, cussing my ass out. You know, like they will take you down and through there. If you had a very obedient child that just didn't rock the boat, didn't do anything to drive you nuts, you are blessed. Okay. Cause all three of my children took me down and through there in one way or another. So I caught it from all of them. Whew, let me breathe on that one. Let me breathe on that one. Let me let it breathe. Because you want to talk about... I ain't even going to go there. I was about to say, spending $1,000 on my child's sewing, and then she being, like having the audacity to be mad about some shit. So yeah. They will take you through there. And I'm not saying like hold your kids and hold grudges against your kids and or anything like that, because I don't hold my kids responsible for me bringing them into that predicament. Number one, I mean, yes, they came here, like they had a part in coming here, but I don't hold them responsible for what I didn't do as a parent. And I think that parents tend to do that. Like they hold their kids responsible for some shit that they didn't do that they were supposed to do. Like, nah, that's not what's about to go down. Or like, I want to say victim shame the child. Like that's some sick twisted shit. So I know that I'm reading somebody's energy, but like let me extend my love to you for having to go through some crazy shit like that. And not saying that I didn't, because I had, like, my feelings weren't validated even as an adult. Like I had to have a conversation with some, elders in my family, and I was like, I was basically saying, okay, so this hurt my feelings. I didn't really appreciate how you treated me in this instance, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a complainer, and I've never had that type of conversation with them before. So for me or for you to come to somebody and have that challenging of a conversation about, like, what they did that did this or that, it was very difficult for me to have that conversation, just because, like, I was looking at it from, oh, I have to have like a certain level of respect, and this is kind of disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. Like I was just going through a bunch of things in my head. But I was like, you know what? At that point, I was awakened, and I was like, I'm going to have this conversation, because this is my portion of our soul contract. So anybody that we interact with, we have soul contracts with. And so I was supposed to play my role in the soul contract, and then they were supposed to play their role. And instead of playing their role, they told me I was too sensitive. They did not acknowledge or validate my feelings. They laughed, like actually laughed, and was like, "Oh, it was a joke. You're being too sensitive. We didn't mean it like that, or I didn't mean it." And I was just sitting there like, look, I did my part. So do with that information, um, do with it what you will, but I did my part. And so they're gonna have to answer to that shit. But the reason why I had to have that conversation with them is because I and you have to make people aware. If you don't make people aware, they can go to judgment and be like, I had no idea she felt that way. I had no idea that his feelings were hurt or I offended him. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to protect yourself. And I'm not saying pop off or crash out at people every time there's an offense. Because I mean, you might just be in the grocery store and the cashier is disrespectful. You know, you may have to be like, hold on, I need to see a manager, because what you're not gonna do is start throwing money at me and talking to me crazy. I don't know if somebody experienced that recently. But you know, you have to stand up for yourself. And so my higher self was like, you're done. You're done with your part. You brought it to their attention. You gave them an opportunity to respond however they wanted to respond. And so, you know, like when people are very ego driven, and that's one thing about an awakening is going to melt your ego. You know, it's basically comparable to a caterpillar going into the cocoon and then the chrysalis and being liquefied before they become a butterfly. And so, in the process of you being liquefied, like your flesh is being crucified, your ego is being liquefied, your just a bunch of shit happening simultaneously. And but as a result, you're going to be very happy. Like extremely happy in every area of your life. We're talking mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, sexually. Okay. Yeah. The Nine of Cups. Like all of your cups full. And you got the Goddess of Pentacles. I said every area of your life. So right now we got emotional fulfillment. We have financial fulfillment. And creative abundance. Look, no more fuck boys in your life. With that damn little money, you about to have somebody with some long money. And some long wand. You said or a woman? Oh, you mean for like the LGBTQ community? Yes. You will have a, oh, my bad. I apologize. You will have a partner, gender neutral. Now, I could not swing that way because my wand, I need the real wand. Okay? That's no shade, though. It's no shade. But I know me. And I know that I just need the real wand. You said, what are y'all doing? I'm a scissor sister for life. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? You said, you don't throw shade. We hear you. You said, I'm hollering. Hi, Mills. I'm just saying. Like, like, it's something about a man. Like, I cannot explain it. You said, oh my God. What does that mean? Oh, look, I'm clutching my pearls. What does that mean? What does that mean? Okay, I get that. But I was talking about a real wand versus a fake wand. And then she says scissors. So I thought it had something to do with a fake wand. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like I have something in my nose. Yo, I don't know anything about that life. I know people that experimented in college and stuff like that, but I wasn't a part of that crew. Down. Down. Stop. Down. Down. Y'all are doing a bit much right now. Not that you really care. No, mama. Bless you. Yeah, but the Ten of Pentacles, that is complete wish fulfillment. Complete and utter. Stop. Stop. Down. 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 Y'all are doing too much. Get down. Stop. Y'all acting like I'm not right here. They be having to be in my skin. You said that's okay. Well, handle that for you. You take. Sorry, what are you talking about? Oh, take the guys. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take them. Cause the other thing is, now I was talking about hygiene earlier. Like, I've talked to too many men who said they ran up on some real funky coochie. Oh no. See, like that right there. No. I take pride in mine. Do you hear me? I'm talking about a multitude of men have told me they ran up on some real funky coochie. And we not talking about gym funk. We talking about like you probably need to go to the doctor and get a prescription type funk. That right there? No, sir. No, ma'am. No. Absolutely not. You said kitty cat get kitty litter in it? Oh Lord, please don't tell me what that is. Oh, you talking about the stank? You said scratch or sniff, but if it ain't right, yeah. Nah, that shit, Because I want the person I'm with to have a positive experience every time. Like, why would I even want you to remember one time when I wasn't right? So I take showers ahead of time, like right before. But anyway, um, but yeah, that's one of the main reasons why I couldn't. Yeah, and afterwards. Now I ain't gonna lie, I might lay my ass in that bed and be night night. Look, put me to bed. It might be night night. So I can't guarantee the after, but definitely the before. I mean, I know from a woman's standpoint we're at least supposed to use the bathroom and stuff like that, but you said put me in bed. I'll show right, because if I'm knocked out, that'll get done in the morning. But when you're consistently fresh, that keeps you consistently fresh. So the more you take care of yourself, the better it is, the longer the freshness lasts. Thank you for the heart, me. But yeah, people really need to be taking care of their health. Hey, Totally Dimples. Yeah, I feel like those things are very important. Cause that's another thing. Cause like I was saying earlier, loving yourself in that way where you take care of your body, and I'm not talking about weight. I'm just talking about like having a skincare routine, taking care of your body, staying clean and smelling good, and you know that's the gift that you give the person you're with. And really, with anything, if you are working on your mental health and you come to the relationship, pretty mentally and emotionally balanced and stable, that's a gift to your partner. Like, that's the gift that keeps on giving. When you have like worked out, and that's another thing that happens on the twin flame journey or just through relationships in general. So I talk about the twin flame journey, and I talk about how like there's certain beings that are high ranking spiritually who are on a twin flame journey. And so basically that means that the two individuals have their own journey individually, and then they come together as one after having gone through their journey and healing along the way. So all the romantic relationships that they had, before culminating this relationship or like coming together has led up to them coming together. And so like their experiences may be very similar. And so, because if you're on a twin flame journey, then your experiences will closely mirror each other. But the whole purpose of the twin flame journey is because these are very sacred relationships that when these two healed, balanced people come together, they have the ability to affect humanity by like how they experience love. And I'm not excluding the LGBTQ community, but it's a masculine and a feminine because we are all masculine and feminine energy. We all have to balance our individual masculine and feminine energy. So even if you are a part of the LGBTQ community, you can still contribute to like the relationship vibration of the planet by balancing your personal masculine and feminine. So it doesn't matter what you identify as or your lifestyle. We're all on individual journeys to heal and balance our energy. It just so happens that there's a feminine aspect of source and there's a masculine aspect of source. So a masculine and a feminine in a vessel that are born masculine and feminine and operate in that energy throughout their lifetime, that relationship can be very healing to the world. And that's why their journeys were much harder than the average person. Because and that's why this whole twin flame soulmate shit has been so distorted. Because a twin flame journey means like you're basically on the hardest level. So, like how you have video games where you go level 1, level 2, level 3, or you may be able to choose like beginner, moderate, advanced. Like 2 people on a twin flame journey are 2 very advanced spiritual beings. So they came equipped. Even though they did have to live like a very human experience, they came super duper equipped to be able to like close very difficult karmic cycles to close. So, like I said, these people have like is seemingly the most jacked up life experiences because they're powerful enough and strong enough to be able to overcome things like that and still be a pure-hearted person. Like you still genuinely want to see people win. You want to see other people successful. You're not in competition with people. You're not trying to, like stop somebody else's shine. You're very supportive of others. So, it takes a very powerful being to be able to overcome those things and still be, operating at a very high level. You said she's suffering from more meds? Ooh. Hey, Angie. So what does that mean? For more reads. Oh, you said I'm shuffling for more reads. Okay. Look, don't mind my eyesight now. I can read, but and especially because it's like the wording is in white, and then I'm looking at it, and it's like the background is hard to read. It's just a lot going on. Look, I'm not about to make excuses. You said I'm gonna send you a magnifying glass. Yeah, child. Because I have the most powerful contacts there are for astigmatism. They don't even keep them in stock. They gotta order the shit every time. Speaking of that, I need to order some more. But yeah, so I have the top tier of the contacts, and then my readers, they be like 150 or something like that. So it's bananas. I don't want to be on here too much longer because it's getting late, but I'm gonna pull a couple more cards. Higher Soul Spirit, what does the collective need to do? He said, change your viewing, put boxes up. I don't know how to do that. Honestly, because I don't have a certain amount of followers, I might not even be able to do that. Yeah, I guess so. Nobody be in here. How many people we got in here? 4 people? Nobody. Look. I was trying to hold off until I start having, consistently higher numbers. Because on Free Question Friday, of course, there tends to be more people. But like initially when I was doing it, because I was answering all kinds of questions. Thank you for the follow. And thank you for the gifts. Thank you. When I was answering any type of question, it would be, 50 to 100 people in there. Like, maybe not that many. Yeah, that first time it was a lot. But that was the spring equinox. But it could be like 50 people. But I stopped answering the main question that most people want answered, and is that, are we gonna reconcile shit? No. And that's no shade to anyone. I'm not trying to talk badly about anyone. But like I had a reading the other day where it was Friday, I was doing free questions, and the person asked me a question about her love life, but she was out of work. So I was like, you really need to prioritize, because fuck that relationship right now. Like if and I'm not like advocating for the Share 7 sprinkle life, but like if you happen to lose your job and he's able to support you for a time period so you can get another job, that's one thing. But You said that part. Yeah. So I feel like, so we have legal, we have third party, and like third party relationship type situation. So I feel like justice is being brought to all of your past relationships with a nice person. So it's nice guy out here, but gender neutral. And like people did not have any problem. Basically, what this depicts is that people did not have any problem leaving you behind, rejecting you, causing you pain, causing you to feel abandoned, invaluable. Right, gender neutral. I think this person who's had their eye on you is surprised at how unbothered you are. Like, because most people be pressed to be in a relationship, like pressed. And so I feel like this person is like, wow, I can't believe how like happily single this person is. Because most people are just not happily single. Yep, single, sexy, and successful. You just chilling. You like, yo, if somebody come along, somebody come along. If not, I'm always gonna be good. And that's the attitude that we have to have. A relationship does not make me, it does not break me, it does not define who I am. My identity is not wrapped up in another person. So I'm not attached to the outcome. And see, I was saying, like, basically, not being stressed and not being attached to the outcome. Like you not letting a failed relationship have you so like jacked up that you gotta be hospitalized, or you out here looking like you got a whole entity attachment. And we have karma in the upright with the sun and all that. So that's definitely happiness, good karma on the good side of karma. Yeah, justice. We have legal and the courthouse. So definitely justice. Some of y'all may be getting married at the justice of the peace, aka the courthouse. Too much. I feel like Spirit is saying people underestimated you and your gifts and thought that they were going to do divination and have you out here mentally unstable. Come on now. And we have karma and courthouse right next to this person doing divination. So I feel like Actually, if you're spiritually gifted, this could also represent your energy, and this will be their energy when that damn karma hit, and spirit have them up in damn spiritual court. And that's basically what it is. So again, as above, so below. So when you go to spiritual court, that's where you're getting judged. And so, it's just like, the regular court system. You're going to be judged, you're going to be given the damn sentence and all that shit. He said, if you get married, it'll fly. That would be special. But yeah, I definitely feel like this person thought that they were going to fuck with you enough to have you. But also, too, this is confirmation of what I was saying in the collective. Oh, what's happening? What I miss? So this is also representative of like the before and after your awakening. Yeah, the divine feminine. What happened? Did someone ask me a question? Oh, yeah. No, it's not Free Question Friday. I do that on Fridays. Okay, yeah. No, that's only on Friday. But really, I do yes, no questions. I end up going deeper into the question than just giving a yes, no. But that type of question is like a reading type question because it's so broad. And look, Spirit said when they go to spiritual court, it's going to be your ancestors on the jury. I heard your ancestors are the judge and the jury. No, you can pay for a question, which is 1111, but I do free yes no questions on Fridays only. Good. You said I like the collective stuff. We all can relate. I'm glad. But yeah, spiritual jail. Sometimes you gotta sit in jail before you go to court. So some people might be sitting in jail right now, in spiritual jail, and don't even realize it. Because a lot of times what happens is people will like dismiss things that happen. So things will really be happening and they'll be like, oh, I'm just stressed. Oh, I just got a cold. Oh, that person daggone stole my something, like it just be all a damn just a part of life and a coinky dink or something like that. Oh, you said ooh, excuse me. You said definitely collectives always resonate. Okay, good. That's funny. I sneezed. You wrote cough, cough. Oh, I appreciate y'all. I definitely do. Because really, all I'm doing right now, and like when I do readings, like paid readings or free readings, I'm just exercising my gifts. That's all I'm doing. And look, and when I said exercising my gifts, that's all I'm doing. I'm preparing myself because I feel like the more I do it, the faster I can process it. Because when I first started, um, I used to have to like really sit with the energy. And look, I said when I first started, I used to have to sit with the energy. But it took me longer to read the energy because I'm like battling inside myself because like I want to actually hear and or see something, but I'm not hearing or seeing anything, and I just have to trust when the thought drops down into my head. So like that's very challenging because like I try not to allow thoughts that just drop into my head randomly to like get me riled up. So it took me a minute. I just said thoughts dropping down into my head. You said we know it takes a lot to do what you do. We appreciate you. Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate you too. I mean it does take a lot of energy, but this is actually something that I love doing. Um It really just depends on who I'm giving a reading to and how in depth I have to go and like how heavy that person's energy is. Because the heavier the energy, the more toll it takes on my energy. You said, am I reading my energy right now? Why do you say that? I mean, I feel like my energy is part of the collective, so I do end up like reading part of my energy, but and like me and my collective will have similar experiences. So you said we calling it all right now, then boom, card to go with. You said you calling it all right now, then boom, card to go with it. Yes. And I was talking about the thoughts that drop into my head, and then we have veil. So like, so I found out totally Dimples, was that you that told me about being born with the veil? Because I just learned what being born with a veil is, and that basically means the child is born. Okay, that was you. It means that the child was born with like part of the placenta attached to their head, and and so that's an indication of having very powerful spiritual gifts. So, I was talking about like thoughts just dropping into the head, and then we have veil here. So you can take that in multiple ways. When I was looking at this, when I was looking at her face, and then how her hand is, and then the way the veil is, it looked to me like Spirit was trying to say that a veil is created when people are like abusing substances. And I don't, like There's levels to it, is what I'm gonna say. Who is that calling me? Um, that's crazy word. Who is this calling me? So I feel like Spirit is talking about. So this hello card is like you becoming aware, and then we have the ascending card. So like the having the veil lifted, um, one of your strengths is clear cognizance, and this becoming aware, like when somebody actually says hello, sometimes somebody may be in your vicinity but you don't know that they're there until they actually say hello. So that's like becoming aware, or also too like figuring out who you are, knowing who you are from a spiritual perspective. And we have mature woman, and I was talking about growing your soul. So I feel like in the context of this reading is about growing your soul. Yeah, so you had to grow your soul through hardships, and abandonment is a big one. Because when you have like abandonment issues, it can create a cascade of events or a cascade of emotions, and it can create a situation where you have like compounding issues that you're dealing with. So and when I said compounding issues, look how that money is piled up. So I feel like as a result of you growing your soul, you have compounded your interest. So compounded your financial interest. I definitely feel like you are going to be using this abundance, this overflow to bring equity to the community. Like being a philanthropist. And I said being a philanthropist, and we got the sweetheart card. So yeah, definitely being generous. And we have the commitment card and star seeds. So like I said, 2 star seeds are getting together. And that's the twin flame journey, is 2 star seeds here for like an individual mission and purpose, but then you have a joint mission and purpose. So like I said, you're on your own journey individually, and then when you get together, then that's when you combine your efforts. Yeah, this twin flame journey has been about self-love, self-acceptance, self-mastery. Yeah, we had a love spell that came out. And that's why I say all the time, do a love spell on your damn self. Like, why are you out here trying to have like manipulate some dude to come back to you that you probably not gonna want to deal with in the long run anyway? I've done love spells on myself because I wanted to have more self-love. Like, why are we not expending our energy on stuff like that? And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the fact that we want someone externally to give us what we're lacking. And the poverty card, the poverty card came out, and I said, "Give us what we're lacking." So, like, you just emotionally bankrupt as hell, and you out here wanting somebody else to like attach to be fulfilled. And I said somebody else to attach to be fulfilled. Like, when you see a blissful person, if you have no interest in enhancing what they've already got going on, like, please move around. Please move around. Because I promise you, this a blissful person is someone who has done a lot of healing work. So you gonna really fuck around, find out you start messing with a blissful person, because you gonna get your feelings hurt if you got the wrong intentions. Okay. And like I was talking about the awakening and like opening up your crown chakra, having like a clear channel or a clear pathway to divine wisdom, to higher levels of consciousness. And that's where your abundance is coming from, your gifts. Somebody may be trying to like mask their feelings about someone, or like not seem so obvious, because we have Ice King out here, so it could be Ice King or Queen. But it's like somebody may be trying to front about their feelings. Maybe because they don't know how the person is going to react. But all I got to say is a closed mouth does not get fed. And like, that's what happens. Like, when you know who you are, when you know that you have certain virtues that are very rare. Like I was talking about apologizing earlier. Like, actually genuinely apologizing and being able to do that, genuinely being able to take accountability for your actions or your inaction, genuinely being concerned about the other person's well-being and how you treat them, and being mindful of all those things. Like, when you know that you hitting on all them cylinders, and then don't be fine, intelligent, got your shit together for the most part, just all of the things, I would say that might be a quadruple threat. And we have karmic masculine in the reverse. So yeah, like when you a triple and quadruple threat, they gonna come out the woodworks, and it be the karmics that be more aggressive than the nice guys. It's like, what is like, y'all karmics are just renegade as hell, cause you just like shooting in the dark. Okay, well, I'm gonna shoot my shot in the damn dark, and if it lands, it lands. And my dumb ass, I would be like, okay, like, I'll give you an opportunity. And some for some of y'all, for one of y'all, somebody's selling you a damn false occupation. And that's the drawback to meeting people like on online dating. Sometimes they will make up a whole fictional lifestyle. You hear me? Like, it's really bananas in these dating streets. I got to the point where I don't even look at the dating app. Like, I don't even care. Cause I had so many damn false ass love offers. Unhealed ass, head ass love offers. Look. Healer in the reverse, unhealed ass. Yeah, no more energy vamping type relationships. No more. I'm hearing energy siphoning. And people that are around you that don't like you will try to cipher your energy. It's like they love to hate you. Like, they don't like you, but they know, they see your attributes and they want those attributes. So people will try to hang around people they don't like to siphon their energy, to study them, to imitate them. So and Spirit's like, you entertained it for a little while before the awakening, but yeah, no, not anymore. Like I said, flying monkeys out here playing mind games with people, acting like, there's somebody that you can take with you to the other side, the winning side. No, Spirit said no, they can't go. Because they were not with you when you was shooting at what's the saying? When I was shooting on the court or something like that. I don't know what the hell the saying is. But yeah, like, when you were going through all that shit, when you were like basically in training to be your highest self. Yeah, when you were in training to be your higher self. Those people were not at the gym shooting the ball with you. Oh my God. I feel like for somebody, there was like a female group, and like one of the females was trying to attach themselves to your divine masculine. But I mean, like, based on the way the energy is reading, like, this person is single. So like, I don't want to make it seem like they knew that this person was in a relationship. Now, for some of y'all, there's some damn diabolical ass women out here that will pursue a man because he's in a relationship or married or something bananas. But this was somebody like, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't feel like they were trying to literally steal your person from you, because it's almost like the energy where you haven't even gotten with this person yet. Um, but I think, like, from an energetic standpoint, people be knowing what's up. Like, it may not be, written on the wall just yet, but from an energetic standpoint, people can tell that the energy is shifting. And especially because, like, women be really tapped in. And so they can recognize, like, the little nuances in energy shifts. And so if somebody thought that your person was going to be their person, and now they feel like you're night night, thank you for stopping by, and now they feel like you are getting the person. We had the ritual card fall out. Now that they feel like you about to get their person, now they gonna start hitting them damn love spells hard. Yeah, because they're obsessed with your person. Honey, when I tell you the damn smoke is smoking, the candles are burning, the fucking crystals are crystalline, bruh. But you're the high priestess. And this is your divine masculine. And Spirit said, oh, your ancestors and your spirit guides on both of y'all's teams have this covered. Literally. Like, there is no spell work that can penetrate. Yeah, because we got the priest coming out right after the priestess. Right after. And this relationship is going to be extremely abundant. We have North Node and moving on. So I definitely like moving on to freedom. So the abundance attached to this relationship is going to provide for financial freedom. It's going to, I said financial freedom. It's going to provide, like, because, running a rat race is stressful. So when you're financially free, you can get up when you want to, go to bed when you want to, get on live till however time you want to. So, like, freedom to operate in your gifts without worrying about finances. And I definitely feel like one or both of y'all could be spiritualists, because we have the chakras card that came out. No more bondage. No more bondage, like I said, to the rat race. No more bondage to, like, people telling you what to do. No more bondage to, the 9 to 5. And I guess that's part of the rat race, but, like, I consider, like, commuting and all that stuff as part of the rat race. Yeah. Like when you're a rising star, and like I said, this is a twin flame journey with two star seeds, two very protected star seeds. So yeah, like when y'all are supposed to be rising stars together, literally. And spirits, like, you've been through a lot of tough relationships. Um, you can trust this one because we have the trusted card out here. And we had Earth Angel come out right after trusted. So I feel like Spirit is saying trust the divine. Trust that the divine is not going to lead you astray. I need to carry my ass to bed for real. For some of y'all, maybe one of y'all, you may have a child who's sick, where the doctors like tried to say they're not gonna live very long, but I feel like Spirit is like that child is going to live into old age. And also too, like with the transition in the reverse and child, I was talking about like a pregnancy termination earlier, and I feel like that's connected to that. Cause like you may have been someone who was easily taken advantage of physically for like, intimacy. And maybe you messed around and got preggo when you didn't want to. But Spirit's like, we're not holding that against you. Yeah, if you were worried about that, Spirit's like, we're not holding you for that. Because there's what Spirit is saying is that a lot of confusion comes with being like a star seed in a human vessel. It's very conflicting because like your energy knows that you're not supposed to exist in a vessel, and so it's like a push and pull or a tug of war between your energy and your vessel that doesn't want to be housed. Like your energy does not want to be housed in a vessel, especially if you're a star seed. So when you come into this life and you're a star seed in a vessel thinking that you're fully human, there is a ton of confusion that occurs. And so the divine is like, we gonna give you a break because we hold you in high honor. Like, we not about to damn fuck with you like that when we hold you in high honor. Like everything that you had to experience was for your purpose, for your ascension, to heal your heart, because he has like a lot of green on. You said need a break. We have endings in reverse. So I feel like if you experience like a lot of endings, a lot of tragic endings, a lot of sudden endings to things, Spirit's like that time period is over. You should expect the best out of life now. It is something to get used to, though. The divine loves you very much. And expect to be loved in the natural. Like the divine loves you very much, but like you can now expect to be loved by someone in the physical. Like I've been talking about, a lot of opposition in relationships. Like relationship after relationship. I said relationship after relationship. Spouse, kids, custody. And when we had concern, when I said custody, concern came out. So one of you may be concerned about a custody case. I feel like there may have been some domestic violence involved in this custody case. But Spirit said you're still on the path to your destiny. And it's a clear path. There's no traffic. There's no accidents. There's no construction. And some of y'all really have had to work through changing out of being immature. Because like immaturity comes with an unhealed inner child. For real. And if you're immature, that shit is a no deal. And I feel like there's someone in your energy who is going to be very surprised when they see you with someone else. Like, why would you be surprised? I feel like they were praying for you to come back to them. They thought they were praying, but you said, nah, you can't melt this ice. We got travel, told them people to keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. Okay, I'm about to get over here. I'm tired. I was tired, boss. It's time for me to go night-night. Yeah, I've done enough talking today. I feel like I just be up here talking and running my mouth and talking some more and running my mouth some more. This is definitely not like my true personality because I really was super introverted as a child. I don't say much. So I've really I have had to really work on this shit. That's also what I'm doing. In addition to exercising my intuitive muscle, like I'm having to acclimate myself to speaking and talking to people, because this right here, if I could just go and live in the damn I don't know if I'm not gonna say in the wilderness, but if I could just go live in like a tropical damn some tropical place where nobody could find me, I would probably be there most of my life. Like maybe come out to play sometimes, but I would probably be like off ducked off somewhere. But I can't do that. And I want to publicly say, Spirit, can this be the last lifetime, please? I mean that with so much sincerity and love in my heart. I need for this to be my last lifetime. I doubt it, but hey, it's 10:10 on the clock, so maybe that's a sign. I don't know. But thank you all for hanging out with me. You say you have no luck in love. Oh, well, I'm single too. Shit. You say you don't know why. I don't. Yeah, I would say that if you get the same recurring energy over and over again, then that is someone who is trying to show you something. Because I had like a couple of recurring themes in relationships, and I had to really start looking at myself. You say yes, the same energy every time. Yeah, it's something you have to look at yourself. So, like, if I kept getting somebody who just wanted to be with me for the physical part, then I had to learn how to say, we not doing that. If I kept encountering some narcissists, then I needed to, you have to go within and look at what it is that you're not being honest with yourself about. So every situation is an opportunity to learn and grow. But it just depends on how honest you're going to be with yourself. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. And I will see y'all later. Oh, we got 23K likes. I'm calling. Thank